Good day, Sir Mark. I am Jeremy Uyangorin from Group 1, BS English 22, and today I'll be discussing the continuation of Lesson 2. It is Learning Principles on Development, Social and Individual Differences. So we'll start at number 4. So learning is most effective when differences in learners' linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds are taken into account. Um, for example, you are from a different city, or you've just transferred to that, then you have a student that is came from different city, then you must also understand and try to understand them what are the lesson. And we also have here multicultural teaching, and it encourages teachers to consider their learners linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds. It is also says that it is an idea that multicultural education seeks to create equal educational opportunities for all students, including those from different racial, ethnic, and social class groups. So it means that we also must make them feel that they belong in a specific class in order for them to learn and enjoy learning. And we also have here the language. This can be a barrier in the learning when learners cannot express themselves properly and when the learning material is not also related to their social context. Say for example, that specific student is actually smart. However, since he cannot he is from not from that originally from that specific city, then of course he or she will have a difficulties in making um, her explain or him explain himself or himself themselves, and also they cannot provide or um, they cannot make or make the most of their knowledge, since the language that they are using is different from what they um, usually understand. So culture makes one person distinct from other people. It is an inclusive classroom, one of that welcomes and respects those differences which are incorporated into their learning activities. So students do not feel discriminated upon and ridiculed because of their uniqueness as an individual. So yeah, for example, they of course, if we have here someone that came that don't have the different or the same culture as we have, or example different religion, or yeah, so we must also understand and accept them, and um, understand the differences that we have from them. So we have here the number 5. So setting appropriately high and challenging standards and assessing the learner as well as the learner progress, including the diagnostic process and outcome assessments. So it is the part of the learning process. So for example, we are after we discuss our topics, we must also provide them the quizzes for us to assess and know what they have learned in that specific topic. So we have here assessment and evaluation. So number 1, we have here, it is the essential parts of the teaching and learning process. And also it is the results are used to gauge the learner's strengths, weaknesses, limitations, and areas of difficulties. So another one is that this should be an ongoing process, and also it can be whether formative or summative. Results should be used as means of improving the teacher's strategies and techniques in teaching. Say for example, after we have, for example, there is a story given on specific topic, and then you give them an assessment that is about to, for example, you will say what are the moral lesson of the story, what are the weaknesses of the story, the strength, for example. Then based on the answer of your students, then that's the way you will know how you can improve your teaching techniques. Say for example, most of your students did not get what are the moral story of the story that you have provided them, then of course you will assume that they do not understand the type of teaching or the techniques of teaching that you use in that specific time of your teaching. So, teaching is a complex process, and it can be observed that there are teachers who enter their classrooms without much preparation on how they could make learning more interesting and engaging in varied kinds of learners. It is the very reason why institutions preparing pre-service teachers at present have continuously introduced innovations on how their teacher education programs to prepare them for this and complete complex tasks. And the teachers are immersed as much as possible to actual classroom situation so that at an early stage of their training they can already see the realities in the teaching and learning process. So that is all about the lesson 2. So thank you so much for listening.